I don't know if you've noticed, but we just picked up this hunk of metal last week. If you know about us, we love delivery checklists. I think it's important and it ensures that you're getting the vehicle that you want. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing in this video. We're gonna go over a list so you can be ready for your special day. So Tesla has made it really easy for your delivery. Everything is done through the app. So before you take delivery, they ask you to do certain things like putting your insurance, your registration, accepting paperwork. And then when you get there, for Florida, where I picked it up, I actually didn't even sign anything because everything was e-signed. You tell them that you've located your vehicle and you're there, and then someone will come and kind of guide you. And if you don't know about the car, they'll walk you through and really take time. Right now, the Cybertruck is so new, they're taking a lot more time than they would for other cars. So they're gonna show you how it works and everything else. So we're gonna go through this list. And this list I'm not gonna go through every single thing because you have this list that you can download yourself. What we're gonna do is things to really watch out for from my experience of picking up the Cybertruck. So the first thing when we go to the first section is to just make sure your VIN matches your paperwork. And that's pretty obvious. It's on your app, but it's also on the screen when you go in. And this delivery is for the foundation, since that's the only thing that's being delivered right now. But really, this will apply to all the other ones that are coming in. But if you do have the foundation, there's a couple things you want to look out for. Is you want to make sure that you have your wall connector, which is slightly different. And so far, every single Cybertruck that we've worked on, they put it in the trunk bed in that cooler area. I think it's a cooler with a divider. They put it right in there. So make sure you look for that. And you also get J1772 adapter. So those two are very important so that you have flexibility in charging. The other thing that you get with the foundation is going to be the rugged all-weather mats. And in mine, they actually already installed it, and then they put the carpeted one in my trunk. So just look for that, make sure you have it. I've also seen it where they didn't install it and they still have it in packaging. So let's go with the exterior. The wheels now no longer come with the cover. They are redesigning it. What happened was it was eating through the tires. Once it's ready, they're gonna be able to send it to me. But right in the wheels, you're looking for any like gouges, not really for minor scratches, or maybe like during transit it got messed up or anything like that. So just kind of visually inspect each wheel, and then also just check that you have the valve stems, right? The other thing with the tires and wheels is just making sure that PSI for the Cybertruck is 50 PSI. So just make sure it's around that area, plus minus like 3 at least, right? And that will ensure that, if you are driving back home, like I drove 13 hours from Florida to Chattanooga, you gotta make sure you check the tire pressure so you have good, well-aired tires before you move. Honestly, this car was amazing. It was really good. And let me show you what other areas you want to look for. I think people think that because of the videos where like people shoot at it and stuff, that there's going to be absolutely no scratches. I mean, stainless steel does scratch. It just doesn't look as bad when it scratches, right? This is actually a brush. So if you look really closely, there's a grain as well that goes with the metal. These are, I think, what I think is very important is door alignment. And this can be easily adjusted. So for mine, just so you have an idea, when I close it, it was protruding out quite a bit, probably almost like that much. So when you kind of run your fingers like this is how you can check. So I wanted them to fix it before I drove. So I told them about it. One guy came out and he literally fixed it in like 5 minutes. So let them know about those things. It might be a quick fix, it might not be, but it's better to let them know. And on top of that, you just want to make sure that it's on the record so that when you bring it back, they'll fix it as well. I've seen a little bit of a misalignment in the pillars, right, to the rear quarter panel, and then also pillars to the fender. Inside this seal right here, there's actually a 8mm bolt, because in the fender there's an actual metal plate, and this is how it attaches to the fender. So if you loosen that, you can actually move it down and then tighten it, and you can actually align it a little bit. So the rear one's slightly similar, but it's a little bit more work, so you might want to have service do that. But that's really the main one that you want to look for. A couple other inconsistencies that I've seen in some is just the alignment of the taillight. So this is something that can also be adjusted. So I mean, this looked really good. So I didn't really have any issues. It's pretty well flushed. The other things that you want to look for on these lights is that there's no condensation. These are kind of harder to see, but there's fog lights in the front where you want to just check that there's no like water inside. There's a lot of glass in the Cybertruck. There's glass up here, glass in the top. And then they have this massive windshield right here. So you just want to inspect the glass to ensure that it is actually crack-free. That's pretty much it for all the panels and then the glass. Let's go ahead and move on to the electronics. The B pillars are where you're going to be using the keys as well. I actually don't have it with me, but they're going to get two, and they look exactly like the Model 3, Model Y, and Model S. Pretty much all of them as key cards. And you put it right here, and that's how you open the door. I have my key, which is my phone right now, so I don't really need that, but you just want to ensure that's good. We kind of talked about the door alignment. Is open and close every single door. This is really important. And this is part of alignment, but it's also like you're hearing for clicks. When you hold that, it's supposed to protrude out like that. It's a safety thing too, because you can't push it out. But you're just hearing for any noises, and you want to do that all across the 4 doors. You also want to open this trunk. And that's what it should sound like, whatever you just heard right now. It's just kind of a very subtle. And then there's actually a button here and a button here. So just close it and just make sure that it closes and opens easily. Boom, it latched. We want to just open up the tailgate. And this has a power latch as well, right? So when you get close to it, you don't have to go really hard. It grabs it as well. So it has a teeth, it grabs it, and it locks it into place. You just want to make sure that this is smooth. It's got to be smooth. If it's rugged, you got to make sure you get that fixed, right? So there you go. And then you want to do it a couple times, and it's kind of fun. You just hold it a little bit, and it comes back out. So you want to make sure that this is good. And just so you know, this is just rubber. So it's actually not going to hurt you if your finger was there. Just make sure your car has mirrors. It shouldn't look like this. No, I'm just kidding. The mirrors are actually already inside. I took them off. But we're working on a mirror hole cover. So for some people, they've been asking us to come up with an easy cover where it'll go here. So we already have a prototype. It looks awesome. It fits great. But let's go inside, and then we'll discuss what else you need to look at in the inside. So once you're in the driver's seat, it'll ask you to set your phone up. And once you set your phone up, you could test a lot of stuff like Bluetooth connectivity. You could play some music as well. So let's go ahead and just, and then you can crank it out. You gotta test the speaker system. It's amazing. So make sure you do that. Have fun. You also want to make sure, since you're in the driver's seat, try all the windows, right, from front and back. And you just want to make sure that it goes up and down with no issues. The other thing is also your mirrors. I'm not going to do that because one of my mirrors is completely off, but it needs to make sure that it goes in and out without any clicking sound. This sometimes happens, rarely happens on other models as well. So because it's always on a track like this, right? So if it's off, it could sometimes kick out. But you want to also just do a ride height, put it to high, and see it go high, go outside, check it out, and then put it to low, and then or entry mode, and then you could also see it go down. So the compressor will kick in. So just make sure that it goes up and down with no issues, and nothing comes up on the screen as well. But you want to check out the windshield wipers. This is a huge hunk of windshield wiper as well. Everything's big on the Cybertruck, but just checking that, and then also you hold it down, and then the water sprays. So as far as the materials go in the interior, before you get in, one of the things you want to do is just visually inspect the seats. These are heated and air cooled, so it's super cool, but you just want to make sure that there's no gash or anything like that in the vegan leather. So just inspect it, visually inspect it, do the same thing here, and then also you're just kind of looking front and back for anything that looks out of place or any damages. So that's what you want to do. And then when you're in the seat, you also want to do this, is just checking your seats, and then not just front and back, and then also up. You just want to make sure that all the motors are working properly for that as well. AC, just making sure it works. And I typically put it on high. And one thing that happened earlier on in the ownership of mine, it was making like a whistling sound, like a really high-pitched sound. So there was just something stuck there, so that's like really easy to fix. Going back and trying out the outlets, there's going to be a 240 and two 120s in the back. it won't work unless you turn it on. So you can actually go here. You just go to outlets and mods, and you can click on outlets, and that will actually turn the outlets on. While you're at the outlet check, you can check the outlets in the back and also in the front. And then you can also check that your wireless charging is also working. So there is a rear view mirror, but we've already removed it. But I guess make sure you have that. But actually what you're going to be using is, because once the tonneau cover is, you know, all the way out, which most of the time it will be, you can't see through the back window. So that's why it's kind of useless to have that, for me at least. So what's more important is just checking the cameras, and checking the cameras that both of them work. So you can see my side repeater cameras are working, my rear, and actually this is a front. And then while you're here, you could also, you see this little button right here. If you push it, it sprays water in the front. But I kind of wish they did it for the back, because the back is used so often, at least for me. So I wish they did that for the back, but we are coming out with a solution for that, so stay tuned. While you are sitting in the driver's seat, the other thing is you could call your best friend, your family, your spouse, and talk about a Cybertruck. And then what you're doing is you're just testing the sound system, and your mic is also working. Or you could just use the mic and say, take me home, you know, and just make sure that it's actually working when you do that. So it's actually already working, navigating to home, and it's awesome. Lastly, I think one of the other important things to check is the lights. Of course, there's these lights right here, and you just push it like that. And one unique thing about the new Model 3 Highland, the 2024, and the Cybertruck, it has this RGB lights all across. So it goes actually here, right now it's purple, and it goes all the way here, and it connects to the back rear doors as well. And you can go to lights, and then you can actually change, you can see it's red now, but you could change it any other color you want. And then you also want to check for accent lights, that's what that is. Footwell lights, this is hard to see right now, but in the dark, this is kind of cool because you can see it in the floor. If you like putting stuff down here, that can be very useful as well. So you're just checking all the lights, and of course, front headlights, fog lights, and the tail lights. Those should be fine. I think that's pretty much it. It's about 2 pages for our list. I mean, one thing I've realized is I've owned a Tesla since 2018. I mean, they're just getting better and better and better. And a lot of the cars, this is a completely brand new manufacturing process, and these are one of the first batches. Our VIN is under 2,000. So that being said, there's gonna be some things that they're gonna be learning. But just from what I've seen from like the first Cybertruck I saw in December till now, they've also made improvements from that as well. So it's really incredible how quickly the team is working. So thank you guys for doing an awesome job. But I put this list, I know it's long, but I do think it's important to be thorough with your delivery, just to make sure that you get what you paid for. We're super excited for you. If you have a VIN number, I know it's gonna be hard for the next few weeks waiting on that delivery date, but let us know if you have any questions. Subscribe, click on that red button. We have a lot more Cybertruck content coming. So we'll see you later, and happy delivery.